Hey, welcome back. On this episode of the podcast, what are we talking about?
Yoga teacher training.
Awesome. So we have a 200-hour yoga teacher training based here in Melbourne at our Morty Alec studio.
Yes, Morty Alec. We're just saying off camera, it's actually been running for 6 years and we run it twice a year. So it's quite crazy.
How time flies.
So the training, if you haven't looked at it before, it runs over an 8-week weekend period over 5 months. We meet for a weekend, you have about 2 to 3 weeks off in between, and then we meet again on a Friday evening, all day Saturday and Sunday. Typically we run it from about early Feb to June, so which means being in March at the moment, we're about midway through a current intake. And then the next one starts again in July and finishes up in November.
The training is led by me, Nat Commons, and Nataraj teaches history, philosophy, and bhakti. So all-star team to lead you through one of my favorite experiences ever. It's really special.
Yeah, it's a pretty epic team. Nat and Dustin, I guess, take you through the bulk of the training. And like Dustin said, Nataraj comes in on the Friday evenings, and really what he has to share is quite potent and such a life-changing experience and a lot of people's highlights. I also come in and teach the business of yoga for a portion as well. So it's a very epic training. So the common question we get asked is this training for me? So Dustin, can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the first person that we kind of have in mind is someone that's like, I want to teach yoga. Let's go. And so they're all in, fully committed, and they know that's their path. That's where they want to head. And so this will give you the tools and knowledge to do just that. On the other side, people are like, I definitely don't want to teach yoga, but I love my practice, and I've been hearing about these 8 limbs. I just want to go deeper. I want to understand more, and I really want to embody the teachings. We also encounter third type, archetype is, I don't know, maybe I want to teach, but I'm not sure, but I love yoga, and I want to know more, and I want to dive deeper. And so the training is designed for each and every one of these people, and really, my own journey was similar. I started like not sure. I was like, I probably don't want to teach, but I need to know more. This is so interesting. It's life-changing already just from what I'm doing. I want to make sure that I'm doing it correctly. And by the end of my first yoga teacher training, I was completely flipped, and it would be a disservice. I felt it would be a disservice not to share what I had learned with other people.
Yeah, you started teaching immediately after.
Yeah, so it was one of those things. I know what it's like to be the third person, to not be sure what you're after.
And actually, you know what's funny? That is the bulk of people that come through the training. We do this interesting activity on the first day. We say, stand up if you want to teach. A couple people stand up. Stand up if you don't want to teach. A couple people stand up. And then we say, stand up if you're on the fence, if you want to teach or not. And majority of the room stands up. Then we do the same exercise on the last day. And funnily enough, nobody stands up for, I'm not sure, on the fence. And maybe one person very, very rarely stands up for, I don't want to teach, and majority stand up. Like, yes, like Dustin said, I need to share this with the world. I'm lit up and I feel confident to do it. And therefore, most people go out and teach. So that leads us to, I guess, what's the next step after you do the 200-hour? People say, am I able then to go get a job? Can I go teach yoga straight away?
Definitely. So 200 hours is the industry standard minimum education hours to be able to go teach publicly. You'll have a 200-hour certification, and you will be qualified to teach yoga anywhere you like. Then it, of course, comes down to the individual. Do you feel comfortable? Do you feel confident? And this training is not a pass or fail. It's a ready or not ready. And that, of course, depends on the individual and what you put in. But we will work with you and make sure that you achieve what it is that you are going for.
So another thing, people often reach out to us, they say, I'm really, really interested, but I don't feel like I'm ready. Like I'm not good enough at yoga. I can't do handstands, or I can't do crow pose, or I can't do half the postures that are in the physical practice. Like, is it going to be okay for me to do the training?
Yeah, self-doubt and the little voice that kind of challenges us is something we hear from everyone. And I don't know about you, but myself included, my brain tells me the same things. And first thing to remember that putting a performance goal on your physical yoga practice isn't really a good practice in itself. That's not what it's about. Yoga asks that you show up, that you give your best, and then you let go of the outcome at the end, that you don't really care about the outcome, but you just keep showing up and keep giving your best. So as long as you are committed to doing that, that's all you have to do. You are more than enough. And the poses, if you really want them, if you practice long enough and diligently, they will come in their own right. But really, this idea that you have to be at a certain level to take a step forward, to do a teacher training or to deepen your understanding, that's not how it works. Simply show up, be consistent, that's it.
And what about injury? Like if somebody's got either like a niggly injury, something that's been there for a little while, or maybe it's something major like a broken limb?
Yeah, injuries are just part of life, and they often happen if people come in to the training with injuries. We often, in the asana labs, a lot of those little kind of niggling injuries start to go away when technique and form is assessed. And on top of that, modifications and ways to adjust the practice for your own personal needs is something that we love to empower everyone with. And life happens. If something happens during the training, not during the actual practice of yoga, that's pretty rare, but we have had a few people outside, someone been on vacation, skiing and broke their leg, or someone actually broke both ankles. And to see how they showed up, how that injury challenged them, but also taught them so much about their body and how they could still offer the practice to others, it's a really powerful teacher. So if you are injured, we will work around that, and know that that injury will help you help others in a really powerful way.
Yes. So we mentioned that the training is Friday nights, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. That can be daunting for people because it's a bulk of time. I think it's 23 hours over the course of one weekend where we're together in the room at Mordiallic. How do we structure the day so it doesn't affect people's energy levels, and how do we get people through that?
Yeah, we really try and pay attention because, 10 hours of any information would be just too much and draining. And if you think about it, traditional 200-hour trainings are done in a month. And it's so information to take in and then embody. The fact that we spend a weekend together and then you get at minimum a week, often 2 or 3 weeks in between, to then integrate, to practice, to study, it makes it so much more digestible.
Yes.
And really, that's what we want it to be, not to feel like you've wrapped your face around a fire hydrant and then someone switched it on, like an overwhelming amount of information. We want it to give it in little pieces. So we also regulate the day. We start the morning with a practice and a couple other little specific pieces that energize you and help set a mindset for an amazing day. And then throughout the day, we do lots of different activities that get you moving, get you up to keep the vibes high. And we play games and lots of other stuff. We keep it really fun. I don't want to give too much away. I want it to be a bit of a surprise. But at no point do I want people to feel like they're yawning, sleepy. And if I ever feel like that, I get us up, get us moving, get the blood flowing, and I switch it up. So a day in the life, practice, journaling, and some other activities. An asana lab, we're breaking down concepts and energetic techniques, moving into some practice teaching before lunch break in beautiful Mordiallic with lots of amazing options. Then in the afternoon, fun activity, more teaching or lecture, probably a combination of both, perhaps in a restorative evening practice to set us up for the next day. Let me do it all again.
Yeah, the way you and Nat run it is really fun. Like I know the days that I pop into Mordiallic just to say hi, it always feels like you guys are having such a good time. And often when I leave, I'm like, I don't want to go. I want to hang out and have fun.
Yeah, it's a fun vibe. And I love yoga, so does Nat. And to talk about it and help other people experience those light bulb moments where they start to understand more, it lights me up as well. So love being a part of that, and the community and the closeness that is achieved by a group of total strangers in just a couple weeks is actually wild. And by the end of the training, you have friends for life. It's really beautiful.
And what about the commitment of study outside of the actual contact hours at the studio?
Yeah, that's a good point. So we will give you homework, things to practice. We think about 30 minutes a day is achievable goal. And as well, if you do that, the consistency of that sadhana, of that consistent practice, will be life-changing in itself. That'll allow you to have a practice, a little meditation, and do your homework. But at no point do we want it to feel like a chore or a burden. And so if you can do the 30 minutes a day, you'll start to find a little more space if that resonates and you want it, and you can take it. But that's the commitment we ask for, about 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, I mean, majority of people that are doing the training, right, have a full-time job, often have children, commitments outside of course, work and their home life and the training. So yeah, we break it down so it is achievable and people don't feel overwhelmed. So next steps, if this all sounds really good to you and you're like, you know what, I do want to dive a little bit deeper, I do want to know more, of course we have the website, but also it's a training that we don't sell online, meaning you can't just go onto the website and purchase it. You have to contact us because we want to make sure that it's a fit both ways, and someone will reach out to you if you reach out to us, and someone will reach out to you to make a time to get on a call and have a discovery chat and see if you have any questions that are more specific to you, if you've got questions around our payment plans, which are very flexible and catered to you, and to make sure that you feel supported through this, because it's a big investment of time, it's a big investment of money, but it's a life-changing experience and something that we feel really passionate about.
Yeah, that's it. It's a big step, but an amazing step in a beautiful direction. So if that sounds like it's for you, we'd love to hear from you. And we'll see you soon.
Have a great day.
Aloha.